So I'm back. I know I said this video would be me talking about how Nagisa is going to come together and my planned mods for her and planned face up, etc., etc. But I realized I forgot one key little thing about Mattia. And it is one of the incidents leading up to her mother divorcing her father. Now, you may or may not remember that this doll is missing a finger, but that was never part of Flair's story, because it didn't make sense for Flair to be missing a finger. However, it does make sense for Mattie here to be missing one. It has to do with when she was very young, and it was one of her first times cleaning the fish, and, well, the fish kind of move around a little bit even though they're already dead. This is just doing a little bit of movement, and she didn't exactly have the best motor control as a child, so the knife slipped, and it cut off her ring finger. And unfortunately, one of the things is that her village is is a number of hours away from the nearest hospital. So by the time that she was taken to see a medical professional, it was too late. They couldn't reattach the finger. It doesn't bug Mattia. It's been like that for a while, so she knows how to use that hand in other ways. But it was quite the shock to her mother, and it was one of the incidents that was kind of a nail in the coffin of her parents' relationship. It made her mother realize that maybe this wasn't the life that she wanted and the life she wanted for her child or possible future children. So I'll just put Mattia to the side now, because it is time to talk about Nagisa. You might be wondering why Nagisa has her name. I was searching for a name, and that was the one that kept popping up, that stuck for whatever reason. But I found a way to work it into the story, and what it is that Nagisa's people, there aren't many of them, so they really don't have individual names, because they don't really need them, because everyone knows everyone. So you don't need to have the sort of the distinctions between people in the same way, as well as the fact that her name is kind of unpronounceable to humans. It just sounds like whistling, like a winter wind whistling across like a frozen lake. That's how her people's names sound. Like, they actually sound like sounds of nature. So she needs something that was easier for Mattie to call her. And what happens is that Mattie had the radio on, and it was talking about international politics, and Nagisa was kind of, half listening to it, and hears this name, and goes, "Oh, well, you can call me that." And that name is Nagisa. So that's how it ends up sticking. Nagisa's appearance, as much as you can't really tell, is heavily inspired by Hope seals. Hope seals being one of the 3 seals that are hunted in Newfoundland during the seal hunt, which is also extremely, extremely regulated, and has been for decades, but still remains controversial, as these things are prone to be. Anyway, so this is just a little sketch done with pencil. She still has some sealant on her from Drew's old face-off, so is that okay. So her eyebrows are supposed to resemble a white coat or Hope Seal pup, might be the term you're more familiar with, which are kind of these little small dots, essentially. They're really, really cute. So her eyebrows are from a seal pup, and then the doe nose and eventual spot patterns are going to be from the adult Hope seal. And I couldn't actually get it to work on this, but she's going to have essentially like very prominent white eyeshadow that is supposed to mimic the markings of an adult Hope seal, once again, because they have absolutely beautiful markings that I think would be really fun to try and replicate. And now close up. She has these really prominent, long, widely spaced eyelashes because she does also have a lot of inspiration from the 60s. She dresses in mod clothing, and her eyelashes and the rest of her makeup, if we can say that, her makeup is like 60s, very 60s, so very neutral lips, very neutral blush, pretty much no blush, and of course very big eyelashes, a lot of emphasis on the eyes, which of course perfectly works well with the seal inspiration as well. That's actually where the dark nose comes from as well. Dark nose is also from seals, I think, as I mentioned. That's also from frostbite. Not frost nip. Not like, oh, I forgot my gloves and it's a little nippy outside, so my fingers go a bit red. No, I frostbite as in your skin goes black. And she has that on her nose, and she also has that, I don't think it shows. No, it doesn't really show. But along the ridge of the ear, she'll also have the black marking. The major mod that's planned for Nagisa is getting rid of that. I really want a bit more diversity in the body shapes of my dolls, particularly the minis. And I honestly think it suits an ice sprite more, and it'll be a much more interesting contrast for her to have smaller breasts. So that's why she's topless. I kind of sketched out, let me see if I can get that. Not sure if you can really see. Probably not. Does that help a little? Not really. Maybe the side will be a bit easier to see. Yeah, there you go. It's a bit easier to see. You can kind of see where I sketched out how much smaller they're going to be. They're going to be a lot smaller. And I'd originally been planning to also kind of epoxy out her butt. But I've now decided, looking at how small the breasts are going to be, that I don't actually really need to adjust her behind, that it'll actually be a good mix, especially since she already has kind of a thicker torso. It'll be, I think, a nice contrast, especially to Mattia and to the others of Curiosity Shop. Apologies. So yes, the major mods is she's going to have the spots, and I'm thinking I'll do the spots. Okay, I read an interesting tutorial about doing burn scars with white glue and layering the white glue and layering it with pastels and stuff. And I think that would be really fun to try with Nagisa for these spots, to kind of give them a bit of texture and make it so they don't look like painted on, but actually more natural and like a part of her. And I am actually I am planning some post-ability mods. Just really hot glue sueding her because I really dislike 3-part torsos. Mostly because, well, as you can see, that's kind of a really big problem and it really annoys me. And if I manage to get my hands on some epoxy, then I will give her webbed hands. If she is an ice sprite, and she does spend a lot of time underwater and around water, I always thought it'd be kind of cool to have a doll with webbed hands. Okay, I think that was about it. Yes. Okay, actually wait, no, there's something else, but I'll put that in another video. Bye everyone. I will be back with video number 3.